Hello, this is Ray Bagnuolo. How are you, Pastor? Um, I missed last week. I don't know what happened. Pastoral work took up the time from one thing to the next. But it was nice to have a break after 30 consecutive weeks of doing these little conversations. And so back today from Cherry Grove in Long Island, and Long Island, New York. Cherry Grove's a wonderful place for queer community. Been coming out here for a long time, and it's one of those places where everybody is who they are, and all the colors are here. You can find them all. So, whatever color or hue you might be, if you find a place like this, you will know it, and it's a very welcoming, wonderful place. Been a tough week. Some of the things that are coming to the front, part of what it seems we learn in the process of being who we are as queer people, gay people, LGBTQIA plus folks, in that broad gender spectrum, is we learn about what it is like to be excluded or to feel we might not be welcome because of that. I'm not saying other people don't feel they may not be welcome somewhere from time to time, but it's different. It's different for so many of us. But that also sensitizes us, I think, in a way when other people are experiencing exclusion. We have some experience to draw upon, and certainly the recent Supreme Court decision on Roe v. Wade, the Dobbs case, is horrible on many, many levels. Forget about moral arguments. The moral argument there is that male people who have no idea what it is to even need to consider the personal crises or decision of considering terminating a pregnancy, or have any idea what it's like to be a woman and to need to get reproductive care. I mean, these people have no right to be making these decisions, and they are poorly informed about what I think it means to be welcoming as a nation and inclusive as a people. So, that comes out of my stuff of feeling. I know what that feels like, but the thing that's really obviously so intense at this moment is this terrible explosion of gun violence, this national health crisis, this pandemic of violence that continues to flare with seemingly no end. And there's work. I'm really interested in trying to figure out a way to energize faith communities in particular, because real faith communities, the ones that you find where you're welcome, where they put their arms out to you and they say, hey, whoever you are, wherever you come from, we love you, you're welcome here. Those faith communities understand something, that in a spiritual relationship with the God of your understanding, there is an authority there. And it has nothing to do with secular world. It has nothing to do with politics. It has nothing to do with any of these other areas in the sense that they have control, because they don't. But it does have everything to do in the way that we engage ourselves in the world. So, we have an authority to really challenge people about, you're talking about you're a Christian, you're a faithful Muslim or a Jew or whatever religion or spiritual direction you may follow. You claim to follow that, and yet you're willing to make decisions on behalf of those who produce weapons of mass destruction that are killing our youth. You're willing to make decisions that exclude people from coming into our nation who are under stress and even being terrorized in their own country and looking for sanctuary. You vote against policies that provide food or support for people who are in need because you want them to get back to work and they got too much money from stimulus. Those run contrary to what my commitment is in terms of what I believe the faith communities are all about. And so how does that connect to being queer? Well, it connects because as a queer man, I think I have, and perhaps you have, even a little deeper sense of empathy than we otherwise might have because of the struggle we've been through. And that helps us to understand how important it is when people reach out their hand to help us. And communities of faith that take seriously what it is they talk about those same communities of faith that didn't take seriously what it is they say they believe, and so readily excluded folks like us, or stood on the side of Supreme Court making decisions like this. Those are the communities we have to overwhelm. And I think that part of what we learn as queer people is this idea that when we gather together, this truth, when we gather together and we get voices together, that we can overwhelm those unfortunate voices and misguided people who think that unless we live our lives exactly as they dictate we do, that we're lost, we're forgotten, we're, all that other crap. So, I think I cursed, almost. Anyway, I guess I'm just tonight wanted to just share if there's anything that you can think of that you might do to help carry the message into your community of faith or the places where you are, that we need to speak out on these things that are killing us, and literally in some of the attacks that have taken place in clubs such as Pulse in Orlando just 6 years ago. And it's a disease that affects all of us, this violence. And anywhere we can help to stop it, it helps to stop it more broadly. It takes a chunk out of its power. So there you go tonight. That's what's on my mind. And again, these little chats, I'm just talking. And so if you're listening, I hope it stirs something in you. And I really would like to hear from you. I would like to hear from people about their ideas of what we could do specifically. The broad things about taking everything on, that just becomes almost an exercise in an intellectual exercise. I'm talking about really coming up with things, something that maybe we could do, some kind of a campaign that we could get everybody to participate in and just take over the narrative. So I think faith communities are a great way to do that if we can figure out how to find those that are ready and to join with them in such things. So that's what's on my mind tonight. Rambling about, but that's how I figure things out. I ramble a bit. Maybe you too. Either way, thanks for listening. Hope you have a great week. Back on track here. Next week I'll even have my little mic so you can hear me better, I hope. And I hope you have a great week. And please keep these things in mind, and what your ideas are, and how we can join together to make this world come closer together rather than continue to be divided by these folks who seem to take pleasure and profit in doing so. Not us. And remember, you're loved. Really loved. You are. And so thanks again for listening. Ray Bagnuolo. Talk to you soon. Bye for now. Bye.